What's up, people? So this is part 3 of my drum video here. This is kind of the fun part, and I'm a little bit less specific here about what I'm going to do exactly as in the last two. But basically, I did all that because I'm going to write some stuff over this on guitar. But I wanted, not that the drums don't sound good, they actually do sound good, but I want to make them sound a little bit more studio, a little more polished, a little more layered, a little more thumpy. So I'm going to layer them with EZDrummer. So I'm going to hit Shift Command N, Command right, Command down until I get to Instrument, then hit Enter, double click. I'm going to call that EZ. I'm going to hold Option, go to Medium so that all my tracks are medium. Now I want to bring in some more columns here because I can't see enough stuff. So click on this little down arrow. I want to get inserts A through E. I'm going to grab EZDrummer out of Instrument. And so if you're doing this kind of thing where you have a real live performance with cymbals and bleed and all kinds of stuff, in my opinion, you don't usually want to layer everything. Like if you try to layer all the cymbal hits, all the hi-hats and everything, a lot of times it might get too crazy. There's too many phase relationships, too many possibilities for things to flam, although we've attempted to correct all that in the previous two videos, although it still happens. But what I really am most concerned about is kick snare, maybe toms, maybe some big cymbal crashes here and there on certain hits, but probably not every little detail of every little cymbal thing everywhere. So I'm going to get this out of the way. My little lead-in is not exactly on the money, so I can fix that if I want. That's weird. I want to for a minute hit F4 to go into grid, F7 to look at something. Yeah, that should be that. So, okay. 010, okay. So I just tab to that first hat. I'm just anal retentive. So now I got my lead in. So what I did there, Command I just hit right and then 1 to clear that 340 out because that was off. So now if I bring my click back by hitting 7 on the numeric keypad, now it's right on. And just to continue my anal retentiveness, I'm going to get those two, so that should just be 2. That should just be 3. And the only reason I'm being that anal retentive is maybe I can't help it, but maybe also I want to actually layer those hats. So if you ever use most drum programs that your kick is on C1, so that's usually the bottom of what you're going to do. I'm going to hit 7 again to turn my click off. So if I want to layer that hat, so it's just a closed, kind of like that. So if I change my grid size, Control Option plus a few times, plus a numeric keypad, then I can just click and drag. No, if I go to my line pencil tool, I can just click and drag. I'm going to click back here. I'm going to hit Shift ? To unlink my timeline edit selections so that the playback doesn't follow me every time I make a note. So you can see they sounded really on, although that last one sounded, I heard a little bit of a flam there. Yeah. Why did that? Oh, because I didn't correct it. There you go. See, that's why I'm crazy. Voila. So Control Option to go back to my, and I might not get all the hats. I just, starting out, walking through it. Okay, so I want to I'm very interested in the kicks and snares. So I'm going to go Control Option minus a few times to make my grid smaller. And there, see, that's what I'm talking about with the flam. And you can see I don't have a tempo event up there So I want to go in and get one. I'm going to bring the kick down here so I can see it relative to what I'm doing. So that second kick hit, I need to make a tempo event there. And by doing that, it's going to snap that kickback. So I'm going to go Command-I. That wants to be 480 because it's halfway through the beat. There are 960 ticks in a quarter note, or another way of thinking of it is it's an eighth note, which is 480 ticks. See, now it's sunk right up. I'm always saving all the time in Command-S. Control equal to go back to my MIDI window here. He's got a little side stick going on. There you go. A lighter one there, so if I want to drag the velocity down, and I usually go and mess with velocity more after the fact, but I do a little bit of it during, so if I just command drag down, I can change that velocity down. See, in there, that one flammed. So this is not for the faint of heart. So I want to go in and fix that one. I want to do that against the snare mic. So I need that. So I'm going to tab to that, Command-I. That's going to be 720, which is 3/4 of 960. So I might go and get all the main kicks here, this intro section, and come back for some other stuff. Oops. Command-I, 480, halfway through. And by the way, listen to the difference with and without. That one's actually pretty close, but I'm still going to get it closer. Tab, Command-I, oops, right arrow, 480. And since I know I'm going to draw those kicks in there, I'm going to just get those now and come back. Okay, that one's already got one. In fact, this is something you can do if you start going through this process and like, damn it, I have to keep doing this back and forth. Just go through and eyeball all these kicks and just start nailing them all, which I'm going to do. That's just bleeding. And if you want to see your grid resolution a little bigger to reflect the grid snapping to what you're doing, I'm just hitting Control Option minus 720. And again, I know that just because that's 3/4 of 960, which is the number of ticks in a quarter note. Okay, that's on. 720. Did that have one? Left is tab transient to the left, or the L key rather. Sorry, Freudian. 720. 299. That's probably 240, which is 1/4 of the way through. So then when you hit one like that you're only mostly sure of or not sure of, then just go back up, turn your clip back on by hitting 7, relink your timeline and edit by hitting Shift question mark, and listen. Good, we were right. Okay, good. That one's a little late. That's going to be 720. I'm just hitting tab again for tab to transient. That one's going to be 240. $720. That's just straight up 12.3. 480, halfway through. 12.4, good. Again, I'm just hitting Command I every time I get to one of these. 480. So you can see it may seem like a lot to remember these numbers, but it's not. It's really just a few different numbers you got to remember. It's just quarters and, 960 divided by 4 and what you get. Tab, Command I, 240. And if you're not sure, like check and listen to your click as I was. I'm just pretty confident in what I'm doing at this point. Command I, 720. Command I. And you might ask, why didn't Beat Detective get all this before? And we could have tried to get Beat Detective to do all this with getting sub beats and a finer resolution. I just find that Beat Detective, when you ask it to get that detail, tends to suck. So I try to get the medium strokes with Beat Detective and then the super fine stuff like this without it. You can also eyeball the main counter up top without hitting Command I, and if you see like up here it says 15300, I know it's right on a 0, so I don't have to do anything. That's one tick off. You don't have to be insane, but you should be. I could have left that in other words, but I just don't. I correct everything. So look up top, 16 zeros, then we're good. This one's not. Command I, that's going to be 480. That one's totally wacky. That's probably 240. Sometimes, like, if I'm not sure this one, which I'm not, things get, obviously, it can go outside of these numbers. You can have triplet fields that changes everything. You can all kinds of stuff. Right now, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to move past it. And if I come back and I start layering that spot and I need to dig deeper with it, I will. But right now, I don't care. So I don't want to hem and haw over it. 480. Command I. That one's going to be just 17.3. Command I. That one's going to be just 18. That one's already on a marker. That's an early hit there. So that's going to be 720. And I'm only 99% sure that, so I'm going to listen. Yeah, okay, that's gravy. Command I. So that wants to be 480. That's just 6 ticks off. That wants to be 3. 20. Good. Command I. 240. Command I. 0 out those 6s. Just hit right arrow, hit 1, enter. Wants to be 480. Command I. That wants to be 3. 1. 22, 1, that is. Command I. That wants to be 22.3. Command I. And I'm hitting tab again in between each one. That wants to just be 1. Command I. 480. And I'm most worried about these kicks because I know I'm going to layer most likely every single one of these. Command I. Good, that one's already good. 480, halfway through 960. Good, by looking up top. Command I, 720. Command I, 240. Tab, Command I, good. Isn't this exciting? I know it's not, but it's super useful. This is a valuable skill to have if you do music post mixing. Oops. Work in Pro Tools. If you F1 up like I just hit escape and go Command I over again. It wants to be 240. Good. That wants to be 480. Let's see how far we are. Okay, so I won't torture you guys with the rest of that. I'm going to stop and I'm going to go back. But I'm going to make a marker and tell myself that I stopped kick aligning here. And I'll go back and let's just hit just a little bit more of this and then I'll call it a day and you guys can kind of get the impression here. I'm going to turn my click off by hitting 7. So let's get some more of these. I just hit Control Option minus to narrow my grid up or give it a finer resolution. And some of those are even flamming a little bit. I'll have to get some of those a little closer. We could, here, let's take this to another level of beat detectiveness. We could try and say, like, maybe I can get that. Maybe I can get that out of the snare. So let's look at that. If I want to, although here's where you get into dicey territory, because if the snare unaligns some of your kicks, like, do I want to do that? I don't know if I do. Let's go into grid mode F4. And let's go in between our kicks. Go Command 8. Capture. Zoom in a little bit. I'm going to hit Option F for fill screen with selection. Analyze. Let's get sub beats. Generate. Move tick position. Ooh, that worked like a charm. I dig that. That was great. Wasn't sure if that would work. And the thing that is cool about the way I did that is by keeping the kicks out of that selection there is that detailed work I just did isn't going to get screwed up because the kick might have seen the kick as just a little different than what I found and messed me all up. So that was cool. I'm going to keep doing it that way. So here, let's do one more. Aha, wait. Yeah, it did screw something up. Screwed me up right at the end of it. I got all excited that was great before it really was. So let's do a slightly smaller selection and see if we can make it great. Let's try from there to there. We'll try it one more time. Capture, analyze, generate, move. Aha, so that was better. So then we just have one left here that it didn't get to manually move, so it didn't screw up the end of what we were doing. So that one's funky. It's probably 720. Yes, it is. Okay, so experimental ways to use Beat Detective for a small selection. So again, we'll do one more now that we got that one to be all good. Command down to lower that velocity. I was using R and T to zoom out, zoom in. So now let's do like that selection. Oh, you bastard. If you drag higher up on the screen, it should hold your selection like so. Then let's click up to the snare. Command 8. Capture, analyze, subs, generate, move tick position. Yeah, I saw something. When you see a big move like that, that's usually a bad sign. Why? Why did you do that? It looks good there. No, that's totally crappy. Yeah, it doesn't always work. Let's try it one more time here. Let's try this way. Let's try that. And I'm not making it easy for it by doing these goofy selections, but I'm trying to keep the kick out of it. No, that's going to be shite too. it's the hat screwing things up in there. So that's why Beat Detective is not always your friend. It's not always perfect. So that just means I got to get any of these that I want manually to be right on manually. Command-I, no, that one is on. That one's not. Command-I, that wants to be 720. Jump out to the next one. Command-I, it's on. Next, Command-I, that wants to be 720. And you can hear those, at least the second one, flamming a little bit. Yep, that wants to be 240. And then that one flamming. Command-I, 720. All right, folks. There you have it.